In today's video, I want to go over the very negative reception to Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. A lot to digest when talking about this game, especially the microtransactions, as Ubisoft has actually removed Ghost Recon Breakpoint's most controversial microtransactions, but only for now. We'll talk all about that and check out the general reception for the game. There's a lot to get into with that, so we'll spend a little bit of time on that. But outside of that, Persona 5 Royal is getting some incredibly cool DLC in Persona 3 and Persona 4's Protagonist appearing in Persona 5 Royal's DLC, and also we have some updated sales figures for the formerly PlayStation 4 exclusive Detroit Become Human. It is soon going to be released on PC as well, but it's an Epic Game Store exclusive. I'll still see it as a pseudo PS4 exclusive, but nonetheless, we'll talk about the updated figures for that at the end of this video. However, I think the biggest talking point today is the mixed reception, and more so negative reception, that Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint has. Now, the critics are seeing the game a little bit mixed. Right now, there are only 3 reviews posted on Metacritic, so that's not a lot to get into, ranging from around a 6 to an 8. All the other critic reception I've seen has been a little bit mixed as well, so it's not looking all too great. However, if you look at the Metacritic user score, which generally isn't the best barometer, however, it currently has a 2.6, and people are just going to town on the game. Now, obviously, you do have to take it with a relative grain of salt, because a lot of these user scores, how much of the game did they really play, given that it officially released today? However, if you did get the gold edition, you could have picked it up as early as Tuesday, so some of these people actually did put a reasonable amount of time into the game. However, the most notable point is some of the microtransaction elements that Ghost Recon Breakpoint employed. And yes, now Ubisoft has removed Breakpoint's most controversial microtransactions, but they only said they've done it for now. And the issue is, why are we at a point where these microtransactions have to be included in the game from the get-go, and then they have to be removed a little bit later on because the publisher got caught of, oh, this is kind of BS and we have to remove it now? Same thing happened with Mortal Kombat 11, where they had to restructure the game a little bit. Why is this a regular thing? It's obvious what's going on. They want to see how far they can push the envelope, how much they can get away with, but then when they get caught, when there's so much backlash, at that point they're like, okay, let's backpedal. It happened with Battlefront 2 as well. Battlefront 2 never released with its outrageous microtransactions and whatever, but why are these things even being employed from the get-go? We know what you're doing, at least I do. Maybe some of you guys are gullible enough and actually buy into the media spin of, oh my god, they changed the game, they care so much about the gamers, oh my god. But that is absolutely not their thought process. What they're thinking is, let's see how much we can screw gamers over, but if we screw them over too much and there's a little bit too much backlash, we'll just go back on it and we'll be like, hey, we removed it, we listened to you guys. But nonetheless, there's a Reddit thread for screenshots of the many microtransactions, including various weapons and other gear that were once available. Reach for comment, Ubisoft has now confirmed that their inclusion was an error on its part. They noted, quote, we are aware that during the early access of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint on October 1st, some time saver items, skill point bundles, XP boosters, and part bundles for advanced weapon upgrades were available for purchase for a few hours in our store, but this was not our intention and was an error on our behalf. Seems a little strange. I feel like the intention was that those were going to come out anyway, and XP boosters are generally something that Ubisoft does. I complained about that quite a bit when talking about Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but nonetheless, it seems like it's just something that Ubisoft wants to continually employ in their games. Whatever the case may be, they did add these items were designed as an optional way for players arriving later to the game post-launch to catch up with those who have been playing for longer and enjoy our co-op and challenging endgame experiences. These time savers have since been removed from our store for now, so it looks like there is potential for these time savers to return, and this is just becoming something that's being more and more normalized in gaming, where I can understand the idea of time savers and you wanting to boost your character to max level. However, it's also becoming evident that game design is being structured in a different way so they can employ more and more microtransactions. I saw this so evidently in Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Origins. No prior Assassin's Creed game made you do all of these additional side quests so you could get experience to progress through the game. Even if you were playing the game on the easiest difficulty, and if you're playing the game on the easiest difficulty, you should be able to naturally go through the campaign and the story mode without having to do any side content. But even on the easiest difficulty, you would have to go off the beaten path and do a bunch of side content, and that was just super lame. And I don't want to see that. We should be able to play the game the way we want it, and it shouldn't be, oh, the way I want to play the game is to rush through it a little bit. I only have a, portion of time that I can devote to a game, and then there's so many other games I have life responsibilities. I can't invest 50 to 70 hours in a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just want to go through the story. I paid my $60 and let me play the game that way. But no, if you want to play the game that way, you can, but you have to pay an additional $10. Anybody that defends stuff like that, I just don't know what to say to you, and that's just opening the door for more and more developers and publishers to realize, hey, they're suckers. They're gonna pay $10, they're gonna pay $15 for boosters, and they're gonna try to push the envelope more and more, and at some point it is gonna break, and we've seen that so much with EA. We've seen it here with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, but they've only been removed for now, so whatever the case may be, let's hope they stay removed, but I could see them making a re-emergence at some point. Alright, enough about that. I do want to talk about some more positive news. Persona 3 and Persona 4's Protagonist will be appearing in Persona 5 Royal DLC. Persona 5 Royal, the updated version of Atlus's 2017 JRPG, will have a special downloadable content battle that pits the Phantom Thieves against protagonists from Persona 3 and Persona 4. The fights themselves take place in the Velvet Room, meaning that players definitely shouldn't look too hard into what this means when it comes to the character lore. The Velvet Room is a place out of space and time, so anything is possible there. This is just a cool addition. I don't think that Persona 3 and Persona 4 characters are going to be added to the story and lore of Persona 5, but nonetheless, it is a very cool addition. And both of these fights are challenge battles, so you'll likely have to really gear up to take on either of these characters. The trailer showed the Persona 4 protagonist with his signature persona Izanagi, and images from the Japanese Persona 5 Royal website showed the Persona 3 protagonist, and images from the Japanese Persona 5 Royal website showed the Persona 3 protagonist as well. The female protagonist from Persona 3 Portable isn't in any of the promotional material, and unfortunately is not an option to battle against. Persona 5 Royal will be released in Japan on October 31st, so that is Halloween Day. However, what about the West? It's set to come sometime in 2020, and rumblings are that it will be dropping in March of 2020, so let's see if that comes to fruition. But a March 2020 release for Persona 5 Royal, that would be pretty exciting. However, that would put it in the same month as Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I don't know, Final Fantasy VII Remake is definitely a bigger JRPG release than Persona 5 Royal. You could go back and forth in terms of quality. However, Final Fantasy VII Remake is just one of those games that's going to translate into mainstream attention more so than just the core gaming audience. So that's my 2 cents on that, but nonetheless, cool DLC coming to Persona 5 Royal. And lastly, I do want to talk a little bit about Detroit Become Human, which I thought was a very good PlayStation 4 exclusive, at least at the time. Now we do know it's coming to PC through the Epic Game Store, although games released on the Epic Game Store exclusively generally don't do all too well, but nonetheless, it is playable on PC. And Quantic Dream over on Twitter noted, "We are delighted to announce that Detroit Become Human has now sold in excess of 3 million units on PlayStation 4 worldwide." It's around 3.2 million units, and that's a very successful number. Yes, you can point to the fact that Marvel's Spider-Man sold like 3 million units in like a day or two, but Detroit Become Human was not a game at the level of a Spider-Man or a God of War. Detroit Become Human wasn't a game that was built upon a already established IP. It was a brand new story-driven game, a game that you wouldn't think would be as accessible and cater to a larger mainstream gaming audience, but selling north of 3 million copies, that is a very, very impressive feat. And this means that the game did significantly better than both Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. And Heavy Rain I did think was a better game than Detroit Become Human, but goes to show, because it was a PlayStation 4 exclusive, because the promotion was top-notch, and because, as I mentioned, as a PS4 exclusive, PS4 exclusives just have that aura of, oh, this is a game I need to play. Even a game like Days Gone, which probably wasn't a complete standout game and a complete home run, although I did think it was a good game, that game did really well from a sales standpoint, and it kind of shows that if you build that trust with the gamer and you continue to deliver quality exclusives, yes, some will be bigger than others, but they all generally will do pretty well. That's why I think some people are going to be very surprised with the sales of games like Concrete Genie and Medieval Remake coming up, especially with those games being priced accordingly at $30, but nonetheless, Detroit Become Human doing pretty well from a sales standpoint. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, Ubisoft has removed Ghost Recon Breakpoint's most controversial microtransactions for now. The game generally is seeing a pretty bad reception, so let's see if they can turn that around. Ubisoft has a pretty good MO for that, in that they release games, maybe they aren't the best from the get-go, but they do develop into something of quality. Persona 3 and Persona 4's Protagonist will appear in Persona 5 Royal's DLC, and Detroit Become Human has surpassed 3 million copies sold. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.